Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Late Night Tips. Tonight we're going to look at how to integrate the Octatrack with the DAW. I'm using Ableton Live for this purpose, but you can use actually any DAW to do that. And the point is to capture the magic of a performance on the Octatrack into your DAW in a form that's ready to be transformed into an album production. So the best option to achieve that would be to actually have overbridge functionality, which is the ability to record multi-tracks, all 8 tracks, into a DAW over USB. However, we will not have this functionality in this iteration of the Octatrack. We're going to have to wait for Octatrack 2.0 to have that. Because the hardware is not ready. There's no interfacing capability in the USB port on the Octatrack. So we have to make do with what we have available on the Octatrack. And what that is are 4 separate outputs. And we can do a lot with those. So, let's get started. So, I have a song in here. So what you hear playing is the Moog bass, the Electribe, and 4 samples. This tom sample, a string, a little glitchy beat in here, and this sort of atmospheric noise. So right now I want to record those 4 samples into 4 separate tracks in my DAW. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to go to my audio settings in Control and set it to Studio. What it does, it means that you can now direct each sample to either the main output or the cue output. And you can see 2 bars in here, which essentially corresponds to both outputs. So now I need to make decisions. I'm going to record every single sample into a separate mono track. So, okay, first of all, my tom, it's going to be main output. So I'm selecting main output 90. I'm pressing Q and level and turning down the Q. So right now it's going only through the main output. The string sound, I want this to also go through the main output only. So I'm releasing or reducing the Q output and setting the main to 90. This beat, I want to go to Q, so I'm reducing the level in here, and I'm setting the Q level also to 90, which is a safe level. You have a lot of headroom and so on. And finally, this thing, I want to go to Q only, also at 90. So, okay, so this is the early pre-selection. But right now, if I want this to work into separate outputs, I need to pan those things. So, this. Okay, I'm going to amp, and I'm sending this to the left, which should go through the first output. And now I need to check if this really works like that. So I have my DAW set up in here properly. And okay, it works. But there's a very important aspect in here that I need to remember of, is that it might be leaking. Okay, and it is. Why is it leaking? Because I have a reverb set up on here. So I can either get rid of the reverb altogether, and right now it's only here. Or if I want to keep the reverb because I like the Octatrack reverb, I'm going to pan it all the way to the left. And right now it's not leaking, everything is happening in here. So, fairly simple. I'm going to go to the second track, and I'm also going to pan it all the way to the right. It should be happening now in my second channel. It is. But I need to check if it's not leaking. And it is. It's leaking badly. So it's probably the reverb. So I'm going to make it go all the way in here. And now it's good. Now it's only here. It's not leaking at all. Keep in mind that if you have LFOs set up, especially ones that pan things, you might experience leaking as well. So you have to be careful of that. And if you have sounds that rely heavily on LFOs, you might want to reserve a stereo track for them. Okay, and then let's go to the next one, which is here. And see, it's good. I'm going to pan it all the way to the left. Now I'm going to see if it leaks. It leaks a little bit because of the reverb. For this one I can actually get rid of the reverb because I don't like it too much anyways. So right now it's only here. And finally, for my final track, I want this to go only to my OT4 track in here. And I need to see if it's not leaking. It is leaking. Yes, it is leaking because, again, of the reverb. Now it's good. So, now I have all 4 tracks set separately for recording, and I can go ahead and record my performance. One very important thing to remember is that all of those settings, balance, reverb, LFOs, are stored in parts. So what you might want to do is go to your reverb settings, and then go through patterns and see if this changes somewhere. Oh, see in here? Different settings. So you might want to, if you want to perform a full song, you might want to check that for consistency. That's a lot of work. But that's something you might want to do to avoid any leaking surprises while you're recording. So that's very important. And finally, if I want to record this in a way that's easy for me to work with later in the DAW, what I might want to do is I might want to sync it. So my tempo in here is 110. I'm going to go ahead and dial that right in. And I want my Octatrack to receive transport and receive clock. And it is set up, in my case, it is set up through a merger that it receives the signal from my audio interface MIDI signal. So right now, okay, so now this should work really well. So I'm gonna arm all of my tracks for recording and go ahead and record. Yeah. Oops. And that's what happens if you don't have it consistently over patterns, because I went to a different pattern and all my settings went to hell. So once again. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check it if everything works as expected. No leaking here. No leaking here. Nice and clean, recorded separately. Yeah, and that also worked. So, essentially that's it. That's how I separate all the tracks and how I use my Octatrack in conjunction with my DAW. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for a new video every Monday, either a jam or a tutorial. If you have any additional questions about the Octatrack or any other gear, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye.